Catherine, I'm going to jump down to you, and you're muted. There. No, you still, I think you have to unmute yourself.
I did.
Okay.
Hi,
good.
everybody. I am Catherine Ross, and I am Pageant Wagon Publishing, and I'm the newbie on the block here because Sarah told me I was a book shepherd a couple of years ago at Marlene's conference. And then Marlene started sending me people. And before I know it, here I thought I was learning how to independently publish for myself. And I find that the Lord keeps sending me people who have a desire to write, who are Christians, who have a speaking platform and a compelling message, and they need help to get their book out. And a lot of times I'm working with them to literally come alongside of them and shepherd them through the actual creation of the manuscript. So I do a lot of helping them to think through their message, to the developmental substantive edit, bringing it down to the line edit, and all of those factors that go into it. But alongside of that, what's happened organically is the critique group that Janice Heck, who I do not have by my side anymore.
Yeah.
But Jan and I started a critique group about 8 years ago, coming home from conference. We drove home together and said, we need a hub for Christian writers in South Jersey. And we started a critique group, and that group had people coming and going. We never really got beyond about 7 or 8 because then, you really can't do much. And but we had really dedicated people and professionals. And we grew to the place where Karen Whiting reached out to us and said, I'm coming through your area, Kathy. Do you want me to meet with your group? And the next thing I know, I'm organizing a one-day seminar. And what happened at the beginning of this month was, for the very first time, our critique group hosted a full-on one-day workshop with breakfast and lunch and different speakers, in a facility. And I'll tell you what, it was amazing what God is doing with Pageant Wagon, moving us forward, shepherding writers. And then I'm taking on individual clients who are ready to go to the next step, get their book in print, and then helping them to know what they have to do to launch it, where they need to reach out for marketing. But again, it's their book. Some of them want Pageant Wagon to manage it so that they're getting an ISBN number through Pageant Wagon, and I help them manage it. And then others want me to set up separate accounts, and then I train them how to manage that and release them to their book, but not until they're really confident and they can move forward and take their book to the next step. So we've had a lot of adventures over the last couple of years with the writers, and we are bonded. So we actually have a network of Pageant Wagon writers, and we'll be doing a variety of events now, not just the workshop days with other professionals coming in that we're going to be setting up, but every year an authors roundup. And where we get together, we rent a facility. We all have ministries, so it's a ministry day, but it's a book selling day, and we have a lot of creative things that we'll do with it. And I'm very, very excited to see how the Lord has he's just built this thing, the next step. Okay, now you're going to do this. Now you're going to do this. Like when Sarah just looked at me and said, "You're a book shepherd. That's the next thing you're going to do." And it was funny because in the middle of that conversation, the phone rang. It was my husband telling me that he was just talking to somebody. They think they have a book. Can I help them with it? It was amazing. The confirmation came just almost immediately. So find me online at pageantwagonpublishing.com. You'll learn all about what our book shepherding services entail. I do have people of freelancers that I reach out to if it's above my pay grade. And so there are different things that I can offer my clients if we want to go to this, use this instead of that I can't do. And I try and make the process, we take our time with it, especially because I'm helping people to actually write their manuscript, to move it through the process. So sometimes we take up to a full year, but then we're really confident with what we have, and we have our marketing plan in place, and then they go, they're good to go forward on their own. And but we stay connected, and I really, really like that, building that network and expanding South Jersey Christian writers as a real hub. And I'm not that I can't work with people in other states, but it's neat how there's a lot of local writers that are coming to the surface and saying, I'm ready to step out. So yeah, God's doing something, and I'm excited to be a part of it. And Marlene, thanks for giving me that step up and out over, gosh, what, almost 20 years of conference coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, it has. Where I knew nothing. Nothing.
Well, you know, everybody
Same
starts
here.
out that way.
Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
of a little baby.
Yeah.
Baby doesn't know how to feed itself, doesn't know how to, you know, to walk, to crawl, whatever. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's okay to be a beginner, and then
Mhm.
just build a good
And I think I have a
foundation.
heart for those people that are in that place, because I was there. Pam, you and I, we were both there together.
Total beginners. Marlene,
Yeah.
Marlene birthed us.
Yeah, I know.
She's our book mama.
I know.
Yeah, well, we build that foundation of people around us who can nurture us, encourage us, teach us. You know, none of us, just as I don't think anybody who publishes is now this one book wonder and whatever. With everything we do, we need a team. You know, it says in scripture, encourage one another to build each other up. And I need to come back to Michael and Karen, because I think I was just introducing them, and I don't think you guys ever talked. I don't know what happened, but oh, I think that's when I got knocked off, maybe. So Karen, why don't you unmute yourself, and the two of you share what Alumnify is doing.
Okay, and I think the word came back that I'm a little tinny. So Mike, I would love for, I'll let Mike do the talking if
All
my
right.
voice is a little tinny.
So one exciting that we've been involved in recently, we just published a book with Philip Yancey about 3 months ago, a book that he wrote during COVID. But it really works into our philosophy that transcendent books change the world, and that you know, every first-time author, they may be driven by a burning desire to write a really good book that inspires, but if they don't have a team of people helping them, oftentimes it actually drives readers away. And I know Jim was talking about that a little bit ago. So what we do, our staff averages 20 years in plus in traditional publishing. So we take our authors through the traditional publishing process, and working with our book cover designer, typesetters, and whatever. So we can put out a book that looks, feels, and reads like a HarperCollins or a Zondervan or a Thomas Nelson book, partly because we've all worked for these publishers. So we love the product. And then we also offer coaching for our authors. Karen is our master book coach. We offer book promotion coaching. And then we have author websites that we can design, and we do monthly training with our authors to help them build their platform. So we offer a lot of really good things. I think a lot of us do a lot of similar things that are here. But I love what we're doing, and you know, we're trying to change the world one book at a time.
Yep. Oh, that's a great motto, and you know, that's what we all need to be
And
aiming for
I'll
sure.
unmute myself just long enough to say, we get a lot of repeat authors. Mike knows the percentage, but it's a large percentage of our authors that are doing their second book with us, third book with us. That's a big part of what we get to do. So we love that. We just love the sense of family. We have times during meetings when we're praying for our authors. I've prayed with many of my clients as we work through their manuscript, and it is just a precious relationship. So that we have with our authors. They're really
Yeah.
like family. We love it.
Yeah, and that's I up until this last year with the pandemic, I haven't been doing many books for people. My passion is to publish books about the needs of kids and the difference we can make. I did one, The Place of the Mourning Doves. My friend Carlene and her husband traveled to Romania and were there when Romania opened up, and they actually saw the babies tied in the cribs. And So, and we worked, they were actually in Romania when we were working back and forth through email on this book. And so, yes, you know, it is building, you know, an incredible relationship, lots of prayer going back and forth. And, you know, and I'd love to do more of it because I actually enjoy editing and, which I think you need to enjoy it if you're going to do it. But I come at that from the standpoint that I hated English in school, absolutely hated it. And now I enjoy reading grammar books. Now, either I'm sick or I'm meant to do this. It's not the typical reading material that we would pick up, you know, talk about going and snoozing. So God is good, and he's full of surprises because, you know, not liking English in school, and we had to take a public speaking class, which absolutely terrified me, where they say the fear of speaking is next to the fear of death. And now what am I doing? And so God's plans are not necessarily our plans, but you know what? They're far, far better. And I think let's go back just one time. And Amy, we're going to try you again. But I'd like you to give a word of encouragement or a word of advice or even a word of admonishment. And you can pick and choose whatever words you want to use there. But, you know,
I'm nervous about the microphone. Can you hear it now?
It's a tad bit better, not much.
Okay, I'll try. I would just say keep at it, and no matter what you're doing, you will get better at it if you work at it, and just keep working at it. And it's very frustrating, but if it were easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah. Okay, who's next? Jim? You're muted. You're muted. Muted. There we go.
Let me just give you 3 questions real quick, kind of what I first said. I'm probably the worst salesperson that EA Books has, but here's what I ask people. Ask yourself this question: has a traditional publisher said this is a great book, but there's not enough broadband, there's not enough interest?
Audience is the word you're looking for?
What's the word?
Audience.
Audience, there you go. I knew there was a word for that. Traditional book has praised it, but said it's just too limited an audience. And number 2, you have a way to reach that audience. And then number 3, you have the finances to do it professionally. And so if you answer those 3 questions, I think you're in good state.
Okay. Good questions to ask. Linda, what about you?
Thank you, Marlene. What I would say to each and every one of us, because I'm in the same place, the same boat, is to truly look at everything that's before you, all of the options that you have, and pray over every aspect of it and ask Father, what is my next best step? What direction do you want me to go in? Because we can go down a road that we think is going to be good, or someone else has told us it's going to be good. But if we're not on the path that God has set before us, it's going to be fruitless. Yeah. So that truly is what I seek. And I also seek intercessory prayer. So I hope you have someone who is praying over you in the decisions that you make, because that truly is the path we want to take. So thank you.
Karen?
Here I am. Yeah, I'm so proud of everyone who is coming to this conference, who is connecting with people, connecting with publishers, who is investing in themselves. I think that comment was made earlier, and I just love it. I remember when I would go to my initial first conferences and the connections that I made. And so I just want to encourage everyone, yes, and do your research. As you're looking at different publishing options, talk to other authors. One of our authors is actually on here. Heidi, and I put a link to her book just for fun, Our Heritage Haggadah. So talk to other authors who have used different companies and worked with other different professionals, and go prayerfully forward and boldly forward, because if God has given you a message, then this is, as you say, Marlene, this is the time, right?
Yeah.
For our messages to get out. We don't have a lot of time. We've got to move forward in what we're doing.
Mike, what about you?
So just, you know, because everybody's said some really good things. I think when you're looking at publishers, ask for referrals or references. Talk to
Yes.
authors who've been happy. The other thing too, because we've been talking about costs, and I think it's important to remember that publishing a book is a lifelong investment. It's a long-term investment. It's not a one-year investment. If you look at it as a one-year investment, it's really expensive. But if you look at it, your book's going to be out 50, 60, 70 years. I mean, once it's out there, it's out there. And so, you know, when your great grandkids are asking their mom, didn't great grandpa write a book? And whatever the internet's going to look like in 50, 60, 70 years, they're going to go on, they're going to look at it, they're going to buy the book. And so it's going to be out there. So you're investing your time writing the book, but also when you're investing financial resources, just remember, this is not a one-year commitment. This is a 50, 60, 70-year investment. And that helps, you know, and I know that some people can't afford it and it's hard. But sometimes when you see it as 50, 60, 70 years, you see it differently than you would if it was a one-year investment.
Yeah. Pam, you're muted.
Here I am. You want a word, right? Well, for years, my word of the year was pause, because I'm a good knee jerker. This year, my word is listen. God gave me the word listen. And I would give that to all of you. Listen, because we pray and we ask God and we want wisdom and direction, and then we don't listen. We love Psalm 46:10, right? And we're familiar with the whole be still thing. But NASB says, cease striving and know that I am God.
Yeah.
Cease striving, get quiet and listen. And piggybacking on Liz this morning, are we trusting him? You know, so if we're listening really quiet and we're listening about the direction he wants us to go, what does he want us to do with our writing? That's a form of trust too. So
Yes.
that's what I got for you.
Okay, Catherine.
Well, you know, in The Gatekeeper's Key, I kind of wrote my spiritual journey, and metaphorically, I had a character named Weaver who was weaving words and this tapestry, and she was clenching it across her chest because she was so fearful to release it. Was it ready? Would it be accepted? And she came face to face with an opportunity to be invited to come before a gatekeeper who had a key that would unlock a gate so she could cross the threshold into the fullest of her potential, into that field of the dream that God placed within her heart. And that story, the way the Lord downloaded it to me in a 12-hour, like crazy writing period, it just came pouring through my fingers. I had no idea where this story was going. And suddenly it was there. And I get to the end and it's like, Lord, how is this thing going to end? And it ended with her, spoiler alert, choosing to open the invitation and look at what it said on the inside. And it was simply an imperative. Go forth. And then the gatekeeper asks, will you go? And that's what God is asking us. Will you go into this new era of new wineskins that God is pouring out his spirit in these last days over all the earth? Because the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. We're part of that fullness that needs to blanket the earth right now with our words and with our tapestries. And we have thresholds God's calling us to cross. So go before him and do everything that you have already been encouraged to do, to listen to those three questions that Jim mentioned. Yeah, get those things in order. And then you know what? You've got the host of heaven that's holding back the hordes of hell for you to cross that threshold. God's going to be making things super possible as we go forward, and we need to just go forth.
And Larry, we'll finish up with you because I'm just about totally run out of time.
Well, thank you. My advice for any author that is considering the hybrid publishing model is to get with your hybrid publisher, check out, you've heard there are a lot of us out there. Check them out, make a decision on which one you think will work best for you, but go ahead and start working with them as soon as possible. We would love to be your hybrid publisher. You can check our books out at carpentersonpublishing.com. We have been in business for 11 years now. We just clicked over 700 books that we've published from over 300 authors. So, we've done this quite a bit, quite experienced. We think we do a pretty good job. But regardless of which hybrid publisher you go with, get with them early. I was talking to an author the other day and he said, okay, well, I'll sign a contract and I'll start working with you in a couple of months when I finish my manuscript. And what I said to him was, that's kind of like saying, I'm going to wait until I'm buff before I hire my personal trainer. It doesn't make any sense. Your personal trainer is the guy or gal who's going to help you get buff. You need to get with them as soon as possible. And what that author would do in that 3-month period would be make countless mistakes that working with somebody